the information that I gained during the course of this fellowship speaks so much to the kind of questions that we are grappling with as practitioners in Zimbabwe on transitional justice. The aspect to say that at what point do we institute the transitional justice process in itself, and also what it must include so that it becomes a credible process and achieves the particular goals that we want to achieve through such a process. So I think the fellowship in itself has had a lot in terms of practical aspects that could help us achieve that, especially sessions that we did in South Africa on elements that are critical to that, and also responding to the particular conditions that we have in our own countries, and also trying to look at some of these concepts and see how we can practically apply them on the ground, and also answering to specific particular questions that are critical, especially in conflict and post-conflict countries. So in that sense, I would say that it was very much useful in helping us, in helping me as a practitioner in terms of implementing transitional justice program. The criticalness of this whole fellowship comes from the point that Zimbabwe is at the moment, where we just enacted we have got a new constitution that went through in 2013, and it creates a National Peace and Reconciliation Commission. So in that particular aspect, I think the main critical points for practitioners in Zimbabwe in relation to the TJ process is probably who is going to be in that particular commission and how is it going to operate. So I think the sessions that we did in South Africa on key critical elements for a transitional justice process, and also learning from the South African process are quite critical in terms of helping me think of ways in which we can operationalize our own National Peace and Reconciliation Commission. And here I should be quick to say that it is not to say that probably we'll be importing the South African system as it is, but rather it is to say that there are quite key critical elements that we that I learned from that particular process, and also the whole idea to say that at times it is not about copying a whole system or trying to get all the particular elements and principles of a transitional justice system, but it is also to respond to the situation as it is on the ground. What is so much critical in my work, it is aspects related to getting the various narratives of the conflict in Zimbabwe. I think that will be very much critical in the whole process of the transitional justice process, in terms of truth seeking, achieving justice, as well as on the whole achieving reconciliation. So I think the particular aspect that I'm going to try and work on after this particular fellowship is to try and look at ways of collecting the various narratives from victims, the perpetrators, and those that were either victims or perpetrators, so to try and get a holistic sense of the conflict from the various narratives that we have and collected, bring them together. Because usually this whole aspect is forgotten in conflicts. It's either, usually in most circumstances, only victims' testimonies are collected, but this is to try and collect a holistic kind of perceptions, experiences from both the victims and the perpetrators, and those that were probably maybe not affected by the conflict, of which I think it's critical, as I said, to truth-telling, achieving reconciliation, as well as maybe efforts in the future towards the memorialization of the various conflicts that we have had in Zimbabwe.